Sixth order, please. We'd stand for the pledge, please, and invocation. Mr. Biden.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kelly.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to be here this morning in this wonderful town, Lord. We thank you for our leadership, not only at NSBU, but in our city offices, Lord, which is a wonderful town. We just ask you to bless us, give us wisdom and decision-making. We ask you to bless our troops that are overseas, and just give us a real good day today, Lord. We'll do all that in your mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Kelly. Okay, we have a safety message from Laura Callahan. Hi, Laura.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Laura Callahan, Director of Information Technology, and I'm here today to deliver the safety message. And today's safety message topic is artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI. And we'll talk about why it's important to understand a few safety tips in order to leverage the technology. First of all, just to set context for those that may not be familiar, artificial intelligence is helpful because it can handle some of our repetitive tasks quickly, it can reduce mistakes, it can analyze large amounts of data, but it can also support people in making better decisions. And you'll see around Florida various municipalities who are starting to explore AI capabilities and work through with organizations such as FMPA and FMEA to leverage the AI to improve grid reliability, accelerate storm recovery, and streamline customer service. So like other municipalities, we here at NSBU are starting to explore how AI may help our operations consistent with our new IT strategy. So as we move forward to see how AI may potentially work for us, we also need to understand how to use it responsibly. So that gets us into the world of safety. In an AI world, think of AI when you use the tools as having a public conversation. Because when you use AI reliably, you have to understand whatever you're putting in and communicating with the tool is like having a public conversation, because it can hold your information for up to 5 years. It can share your information, whether you know it or not, with other types of technologies. Therefore, think of it like a public conversation. So when we talk about using AI responsibly, excuse me, these are the type of things that we have to think about and just approach it a little bit differently. Like any good tool, it's wonderful when used responsibly. So with that, because AI is out there and available, unfortunately in the world we're in today, we have criminals that like to take advantage of it as well. So this also increases some of our safety risk. So what it allows criminals to do is just like we can enjoy the ready use and access of the AI tool, so can they. They can do very quick interpretations of data. Less than 5 seconds of your voice on social media allows them to create a clone of you and play it back as if it was really you saying it. Another thing that they can do is create impersonations. Like for us, they can do a CEO impersonation. This is something that the FBI has reported on across the country. With those audio clips, they can create a voice image as if it was actually Efren or one of you as the commissioners, and that can be then played back to somebody thinking and inducing them into doing some kind of action, particularly financial transactions. That's one of the areas that's leveraged as far as the safety risk. And of course, with AI tools, very quickly, a bad actor can take advantage of our good-natured charities and our promotional events by exploiting false information through the AI tool and compelling people to take actions that would not normally take. The good news is we have some safety tips of how we can help protect ourselves and our families from the AI capabilities that are out there, so we can take advantage of the capability itself and how AI can help us while at the same time using it responsibly. First thing is a safety tip is remember, it's a public conversation if you think it that way. So you want to keep your information private. Don't share social security numbers, banking information, children's personal details, anything like that through AI tools, because again, it's like having that public conversation. Would you say that openly across the public domain? If you don't, then don't put it in the AI tool. It's kind of a helpful way to think about it. Also, double check. AI is known to make up facts because it's artificial. It's going to do the best it can. And it may use old information, misinformation. It may misattribute the language, especially in translation models. So always check and verify whether it's an event schedule, storm safety updates, any kind of business hours, any special details. Always verify and check those. And then for us here, one of the things we also stress, and we have it up on our customer service portal, is also think about it from the perspective of the fact that criminals could use AI to mimic the voices of any of us here at the utilities. So when that happens and someone's calling or trying to compel you into an action and you're feeling uncomfortable, stop. I always like to say, take a breath, breathe through your nose, and then turn around and tell the person you'll call them back, and then call us directly. That way you know you're getting a true, legitimate NSBU member. So those are a couple things that you can do to stay safe with AI. And another key one that comes up, particularly for parents, grandparents, and significant others, is establish a safe word with your family. And why is that important? An AI tool can very quickly mimic your voice and create the image and sound of even a child. They can create the capability to call you, and it will sound like your child. And that child will say, Mommy, Daddy, Grandma, Grandpa, I'm kidnapped, I need your help. Create that safe word with your family. And then that way you can tell, say, give me your safe word. And then you'll know right away if it's an AI hoax or not, because only you and that child or that family member will know that safe word. And so very quickly you can validate and then hang up. If you don't get that safe word, you hang up. When in doubt and you have any questions, obviously you can call us here at the customer service support areas if you have any questions that's related to utilities. If you feel in any way that you've been threatened or there's been some kind of fraud or scam involving AI, we encourage folks to call the new Smyrna Beach Police Department at their central dispatch. And of course, we all as Floridians can use myfloridalegal.com and report any kind of AI scams that we may come across. So those are some of the safety tips that we're offering up for today, and it concludes the safety message, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Thank
Laura.
you.
Laura, let me ask you a question, please.
Yes, sir.
How are we at the UC, if we are, investigating how to use AI right now? And if so, you mind disclosing kind of what source you're looking at?
Yes, sir. We are exploring some AI capabilities, and if I could suggest, we're planning to do your annual cybersecurity awareness training in October, and there will be some discussions during that about specifics regarding AI and how we're not only taking advantage of using the technology, but looking at how do we do it responsibly. And we could share that with you at that time if you would indulge me in that, where we have that closed audience.
I like the idea of the FMPA too, getting involved with them and their knowledge and giving us feedback. But we're not using it in any way yet.
We have it in some of our commercial products because commercial vendors have moved into providing their software, for example, that has embedded in it AI capability. So yes, it is present in our environment through those commercial solutions.
Questions, any commissioners? Mr. Vine, Mr. Smith?
No, sir.
No, I think it was very good.
Commissioner
and
Conrad, you okay, Commissioner?
Commissioner
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura, that was an excellent presentation. Thank you very much. Ms. Simmons, you call the roll, please, ma'am?
Commissioner Conrad,
Here.
Commissioner Devine,
Here.
Vice Chairman Carolyn,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Chairman Davenport.
Here. Thank you. All right. Mr. Chavez, any changes, additions, or deletions?
No, Chairman, no changes.
Thank you. Public participation. Ms. Simmons, we have any public participation today?
No one has approached me. Is there any public? in
Any
the
public
audience that would like to
participation
speak?
from anyone?
We do have one lady that would like to speak over here on the side. If you would fill out
Yes,
the
you just
form.
come up to the microphone, please, ma'am, and thank you. Just say your name and address for us, please.
And please fill out a form before you leave so we can contact you. Thank you.
Good morning. Sorry, didn't know about the form, but I will take care of
That's
that.
okay.
Cynthia Sneezak, 512 Yukon. It's a question, really, and it would take me a long time to find the answer, but I think you could probably tell me. right off the top, excuse me, asthma. Okay. On Smith Street, there's a remediation project going on that the city budget's paying for the brownfield site. I believe it used to be property that you owned, and then I don't know if you gave it back to the city or sold it back to the city. But the question is, the pollution that occurred on that site. Is the Utilities Commission participating at all in that cleanup, or is that all out of the city budget to remediate that site that they now intend to make a parking lot for hospital employees? So any information on that, or point me in the right direction, that would be helpful.
I'm glad you asked that because I called Jesse Cope. Well, actually, the vice manager here. Maybe you could address on Smith Street where you've been cleaning up. Would you give us a little advice? The lady asked a question about. I've been watching that. They dug up, cleaned all that barrels out of there. I don't know what was there in the past, but
Yeah, it's an active site for remediation. The city's utilizing internal funding for the cleanup of that site and converting it to a parking area to accommodate the area.
that's great. I answered your question, but the
Well-
city's doing it.
Yeah, so, but it was your land, and it was polluted when it was owned by the Utilities Commission, so that's my question is, why is the city paying to clean up the
Well,
brownfield?
when we own land, correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, we own land, it goes back to the city if we don't sell it. We may have just been using it, so they're the final pass-through here.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
So they never owned the land?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. That answer your question? Yes. Good. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, moving right along here. Consent items, number 3, approval of consent items. Anybody want to pull anything?
Nope.
I'd like to, give me just a minute, there's a lot happening through there. Jay. There's a lot. I want to pull Jay for sure on the health insurance, if we could.
Sorry, Chairman, which one was that?
Jay,
Oh, Jay.
that's the only one. May I get a motion on the others, please?
So moved.
We got a motion for, go ahead.
Second?
And a second from Vice Chair Kelly. And that's everything except J. A through K with the exception of J. Okay. Any discussion, anyone? All right, Ms. Simmons, you want to call the roll, please?
Commissioner Conrad,
Yes.
Commissioner Devine,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Davenport.
Yes. Okay, on number J, I think that's Heather.
Yes.
Yeah, is that Heather?
Yes, she's
Oh,
up
there
there.
you are.
Good morning.
You all right?
Thanks,
Throw it
Heather.
in. My observation here is, by the way, the rates look good as far as I was looking at everything. Coverage is excellent, in my opinion. What about, would it be possible, I want the best, we all want the best for you and the team, but where you have 15% co-insurance, majority of all in health insurance, usually you can get 20%. Might want to look at 10% co-insurance and even 20%. See the difference in prices on the co-insurance. And then I noticed also in there that there's no deductibles. You just do the co-insurance. I don't know why we, couldn't pay $500 or $1,000 deductible. Just, it's kind of the norm is what I'm saying. Again, I want the best, but that is the best. I'm not trying to raise their deductible here, but it wouldn't hurt to look, if we could do that. But definitely look at the 10%, please.
Good morning, Commission. Heather Carazala, Support Services Senior Manager. Chairman, the coinsurance only applies to a DME, durable medical equipment, so even lowering or raising that slightly would probably not affect the overall premium because you're right, we don't have deductibles. Typically, everything is co-pays. The coinsurance really applies to a very small portion of what employees would be using that for. The dollar value would not be high enough to affect the premium.
Gotcha. That's all I need to hear. I gotta tell you though, this health insurance right here, everyone,
It's amazing.
I've never seen a policy better. I'm like reading this going, are you kidding? Aren't we employees up here, Miss Simmons and Ethan? No, really, aren't we employees? That's the best health insurance I've ever seen, everybody.
And Florida
Seriously.
Healthcare has been a great partner for us. You can see by the history of renewals. Health insurance is health insurance. We all know nationwide the trend in which that's going, in which it has historically been, but they've been a great partner for us. Brown & Brown, as our broker, is a great partner for us to try to keep our rates as low as possible for a rich health insurance program like we do have.
And you might, I don't know if you could do this or not, but this would be interesting, Heather. When you go in the hospital, as we all know, when you've been in, it always costs you money, either out of work or costs you, but you might ask Brown & Brown if they could give a hospital income of cash while you're in the hospital, where they could have that alternative to purchase that. That's really a good product.
We do offer that through Colonial. We have our supplemental insurances, so you can purchase hospital insurance through Colonial. Even though we don't have a deductible, the copay is $250 a day for the first 5 days. But if you purchase that hospital insurance through Colonial, they just cut you a check, which would probably surpass what you would have to pay in a copay for inpatient.
Good, you got it.
Yep.
Great job.
Yes.
Thank you, okay.
Thank you.
I'm fine. Anybody else want to talk about that? Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
All right. I just need a motion on that J, please.
Motion to approve J, item J, 3J.
Second.
Got a motion with a second. All right. Any discussion? Ms. Simmons, you call the roll, please.
Okay, Commissioner Conrad, General Counsel Ramos reminded me that on the phone, we're not voting.
That's right.
Remember that determination?
Thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Okay, so just wanted to let you know. So we're going to Commissioner Devine,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Davenport.
Yes, thank you. All right. For General Manager's report, Mr. Chavez. Please.
I would ask Haley Lamb to come up and discuss our financial status. Thanks, Haley.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm here to present the June financial performance. And I'll go over the balance sheet, income statement, capital expenses, purchased power balance, and review the 9+3 forecast that we put together to project the year-end performance versus budget. So as of June 30th, our balance sheet shows that we have adequate cash available for operations, capital projects, and purchased power totaling $61 million in total. Our purchased power reserve is at $8.1 million, and we have the line of credit proceeds, $40 million, available for use on capital. Our restricted cash sources are the capital connection fees of $8.7 million, available for wastewater projects only at this time. And our liabilities, we have our long-term debt at $1.106 million and our purchased power reserve at $8 million. So overall, our fiscal year-to-date change in net position is $4.4 million, which is $2.5 million higher than prior year. For our statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, we have our operating income of about $1.2 million. Well, it's at $1.2 million, which is about $1.5 million better than this time last year. The key drivers are $4.3 million higher operating revenues. Our electric operating revenues are positively impacted due to our lower purchased power reserve funding relative to this time last year, driven by the rate study. And our capital contributions are $2.4 million higher due to increased contributions from new developments. Any questions on that slide?
Any questions? comments? No, ma'am.
Okay.
Good.
Next slide, please. Okay, some statistical highlights for June. Our days cash on hand right now is at 104.5 days. We also have the line of credit that we drew down, that we've been talking about, 45 million. Overall, there's been a 1 to 2% billing increase in electric, water, and wastewater. For June, for fiscal year to date, consumption has been flat for electric. 1.4% more customer accounts have been billed than this time last year. And revenues are higher due to the increased rates and lower amount funding the purchased power reserve. Our water sales and wastewater sales are about 1 to 2% higher. And revenues are higher for water and wastewater, driven by the increased consumption and the rates. For June fiscal year to date, our capital expenditures and funding totals almost 22 million. Major projects we've spent 16.7 million. The restricted expenditures being 4.7 and unrestricted 12 million, which is due to the Silver Sands septic to sewer, the screw press machine, pellet softening project, and the AMI electric meters. In annual projects, we've spent 5.2 million for transformers, lift station pumps, and pole replacements.
Excuse me 1 second. If you would, Efren, or if I can get an update, we can please, on the AMI, the metering, where are we right now? I'm working on those.
As we are probably 99% installed. There's some commercial meters that we're still working on, but for the bulk of the electric meters are almost 100% in. Just some of the larger ones we have to order and then receive and then install.
So we're able to read now without going out?
So we will continue to have to read water, wastewater meters. So those still need to be read. But we're using as much of the technology as we can for the electric, and then on the water, wastewater, it's more of the handheld / some of them still need to be walked. But we are in a conversion process for those as well.
Okay, and then I ask you this every time
Yep.
because we're on top of Silver Sand Septic, the sewer, you visited with them?
Correct. So just a quick update on that. We've spent $920,000. We requested reimbursement of $874, and we've already received $680,000. So the team has got a good cadence going with the reimbursements, and we're proceeding. The next, we had a very productive meeting with the county. I think I gave an update probably at last meeting. We will be, to set up the special assessment tax district at the county, there will be a vote needed by the residents of Silver Sands, but we don't expect any issues since everything to date has been proceeding accordingly.
Did you meet with the president, Stefan, and them down there to give them updates? You said you were getting ready to meet with them?
I believe Darren's here, so Darren, did you want to talk about?
Yes, we have a meeting set up for next week, Tuesday the 4th.
Thank you. Good. Just
So
keep
from-
communicating. That's all we got to do.
Yeah, no, and
It's so important.
Darren and his team we're all over it. So things are proceeding
Yeah.
the way that they're supposed to according to the timelines we've set up.
Great job. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me. Go ahead now. I got my
Okay.
questions answered.
Okay, great. Now we're going to go into our purchased power reserve balances. This is the 3-year snapshot showing from June 2023 to June 2026. And this is taking into account our current fuel adjustment of $4.69 credit. The balance as of June is $8.1 million in the purchased power reserve. And we've budgeted $60.79 per megawatt hour for the year, and June year-to-date actual is $58.55 per megawatt hour.
What causes the reserve to go down?
What causes
So-
it to go
So I know
down?
we've got the $4.69 that we continue to put on everyone's bill favorably.
Mm-hmm.
But the reserve, you know, the plan was to issue that credit, but yet we've had 2 months in the last year where the reserve went the other way and grew.
Mm-hmm.
What causes it to grow versus it
There's
a
different
steady decline?
factors like weather, supply and demand, the price of natural gas.
Yeah, to that's exactly it. There is, as we had indicated previously, even though WTI and Brent crude are higher, the price of natural gas has trended lower. So as FPL, which is the bulk of our purchase power, incurs less cost of fuel, those costs, that favorability passes down to us.
So in other words, we created a budget for the cost of our purchase power, and even through all the Iran conflict, we're favorable to that budget assumption.
Correct. Because if the Iran conflict wasn't present, natural gas would probably be slightly higher. For whatever reason, it went the opposite. But it did combo to that, the supply inventories on the Northeast, that has a big impact on the overall price of natural gas, even down here.
You know, I saw where the supply is up again, and the price is starting to trickle back down.
Yes, and that's what happens.
You said it's the opposite. We would all think that just because fuel's going up, natural gas is a different fuel.
Exactly.
And supplied differently.
Yep.
So it's,
Well, we have such a supply here in America, one of the largest
well, that's
in
one
the
of the,
world,
yeah, we have a surplus, actually, so.
big time.
But the weather in the Northeast and the supply of natural gas in the Northeast has an impact on the price of natural gas down here in our section.
Yes. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you want to continue? please?
Yes. Next slide. Thanks. So for this, we have the purchase power rate study reserve projection versus the actual. So the projected reserve balance is 7.4 million for June 2026, and the actual reserve balance is 8.1 million. So costs are coming in slightly under projected, and the reserve is staying steady. Next slide. So this is the 9+3 forecast summary that we put together. I'm just going to give an update from what Cody presented last month. We worked with our directors to forecast the last 3 months of actuals, and our year-end position is still looking to be at about 10% favorable to budget. This does not include purchase power cost variance or any storm-related expenses that can't be anticipated. So we have the 9 months of actual from October through June. Then we have the forecasted spend for the remaining 3 months of the year. And we have the total right there. And it's about 7.5 million favorable to budget. Any
Comments, questions?
So, you know, we're 3/4 of the year through, we're favorable to the budget by 10%, almost, I guess, on net with every major account. What do you believe is the kind of the root cause to the favorability across every function?
Well, there's different items that we came under budget in, and I can go through those drivers if you would like me to. But then we have to also understand that there's unexpected storm costs that aren't factored in here yet, since we don't know what those might be.
I'm not following you. I assume we create a budget, we have some amount of contingency for storms, and then, of course, we don't want to build all contingencies into the budget. And if we were to end the year with unfavorability, root cause back to storms, that would be understandable and have reserves built for that. But when you say that this budget, we're waiting on unknown storm
So I'll ask Haley to just walk through the key drivers.
Okay, great.
There is no reserves for storms, so this favorability, this is it. There is no built-in reserve in the
Okay,
budgets.
That's what I was.
Yeah, so, but Haley, you can go through some of the high levels
Okay.
drivers on the right.
Yep, so we're gonna have some favorability in admin and IT, driven by software expenses, lower consulting services and salaries. Support services, it's favorable due to benefits and workers' comp savings and lower property insurance premiums. For electric, we have some favorability driven by headcount variances, contracted vegetation management, and vehicle and substation equipment maintenance. For water and reclaim, we have favorability driven by the sludge disposal savings, chemicals, maintenance of vehicles and structures and salaries. Engineering, we have favorability driven by consultants, studies, and salaries. And then finance, it's due to headcount vacancies in finance, customer service, and materials management. So overall, that's going to be still, we're looking at 7.5 million at the end of the year.
So maybe just to take one, support services, 17.5% favorable variance, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think a lot of the things you're describing there, you know, benefits, workers' comp, lower property insurance, those are all heavily contracted relationships with those providers, and I would think would have been well understood when creating the budget. Why is there this favorability on something that really just doesn't have that much variability?
So on the, I'll step in there for a second. So the benefits and the workers' comp is driven by the salaries. The property insurance premiums and other insurances, when we do the budget, those are estimates. Of course, the final for the subsequent fiscal year comes in after the budget's already been final. So the benefits, workers' comp, salary driven. The other ones, just we don't have the final.
What do you mean by, on the first one, could you repeat that?
Benefits and workers' comp is tied to salaries. So as there's favorability in salaries, the benefits and associated workers' comp costs, because that's employee driven, would drive some of that. So
are you suggesting that the forecasted salaries, total salaries, was less than what was budgeted?
yes,
And it just follows the comp?
yeah, because it's driven by head.
And what was the last one you mentioned?
Insurance premiums, property, and others, those are, when we do the budget, we don't have the final proposal from the FMIT, which is our insurance
And do
provider.
we have those today?
We do now, yep.
So if we were to do our budget and submit it today, we'd have an
On-
accurate number on this area?
Closer, yes, we'd have
We'd have the exact number?
the exact number, you're
Right.
correct,
So that would reduce the unfavorability?
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, some of these work comp, by the time you're trying to do the budget, you start your budget, then you get your audit come in, and they don't match, so one's overlapping the other. Then you get your property insurance. We all know what's going, especially in commercial. What in the heck's going to happen there? It's just so confusing, even to me right now, especially the commercial end of it. So I get what you're saying right there, big time. So
Well,
thank
just
you.
so you are clear, because I think you're making a counterpoint to that.
No, I'm just making an observation, not a counterpoint. I'm
Yeah.
just saying what's going on in the industry. That's what I'm doing. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I was making an emphasis around this delay in creating and finalizing the budget. And what you just heard is that some of that favorability was because we didn't have the right information in front of us when we created the budget.
That's right.
Now, if you look at the timing of that more clear information, it's in our hands today for 2027. So we could have reduced the variability of the budget if we had the opportunity to submit that budget a little later.
But it's my understanding, we just can't, correct me if I'm wrong, Ephraim and Cody, we just can't go in there and start changing numbers and make it to comply with, come to this meeting, and let's have it done this way. once you do them, once
This is
you
a
do them.
reference to the city meeting we had where we're suggesting if there's any way the city doesn't appear to be utilizing this 2 extra months, when we submit to when they start their budget process, that could be an opportunity for us to have a more accurate budgeting process.
Forecast. Go ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
I mean, there's two sides to a statement, right? There's fixed and variable in a company, right? We have fixed expenses and we have variable expenses. And I think to Commissioner Devine's point, we're favorable $7.4 million. So if we weren't the second lowest provider of electric in the state, then you'd question, is it too much or not too much? Are we budgeting correctly? But the way the staff has worked it and what it's done, it looks like we're operating in a very efficient manner, which creates a favorable position. So I think to his point, he's looking for that 2 months on the budget, and budgets are forecasts, right? I mean,
That's right.
you could change them monthly if you wanted to, if we didn't have to submit it to the city. So trying to get it a little closer there, but I don't think that in reality can happen the way we operate with so many variables. You got the variable and fixed, and to your point on workman's comp and all that, we know what workman's comp is the year before, but you don't know the variables that involved with this industry, so.
Yeah, and this point that I was making is on a fixed one, it's
Right,
insurance.
no, it's a variable.
If we had had that opportunity for a later submittal, almost working with the same cadence that the city works with, we would have had more accuracy there.
Okay, and like you have there on the top, 9+3 forecast. It's just a forecast here.
Right.
Okay, moving along, please. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all that I have today.
Any other comments, questions, anyone?
One comment, or maybe 2 questions interrelated. One is, what is the key KPI that we are looking for to go back to the purchase of the bond? And what is the benchmark for that KPI that would trigger us to go to the bond?
So right now, so to issue the bonds, it's really where the interest rates are. So right now, the 10-year yield is at the 4.6. The assumption that we had in the budget for the bonds at the time that we submitted, I want to say it was upper 4s, so it was like 4.7, I want to say, and I'll send a clarification. But right now, the estimates that we're getting based on where the bond market is, we're above that number.
Okay.
So it's really driven, the KPI for that is driven by the assumption on the budgeted interest rate that we use for the rate study.
Could we add a metric to this package until we let that bond, where we would maybe show the historical 10-year bond rate, what our target is, and then maybe just a little background on or maybe some assumptions associated with this this loan, the $60 million loan, and what that is costing us as we wait for the bond.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. And we actually get weekly updates from Bank of America on where the all-in total interest cost is coming in at. So, yeah, this is easy to add.
Thank you.
And right now, the interest earned on the line of credit is greater than the interest expense.
Excellent. Yeah, maybe just a net of the expense and proceeds
Okay.
from that 60 million would be great.
Okay.
It is 3.77% for June that we've earned, and the cost was 3.26% of the interest paid.
Excellent,
Thank you.
thank you, that's great.
Another favorable position.
Yes. Get the money. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Lynn? Thank you so much,
Thank you.
appreciate you. Ephraim, number C,
Yep. I will go through the third quarter balance scorecard metrics. Okay, so safety and risk, we're still in the green, but we've had a couple of items. So we had a cut to hand resulting in from a hidden, in essence, he tripped from a depression in the floor. We did have a PMVA, a preventable motor vehicle accident, so that's 2 for the year. one in December, one in April, and we then use it as an opportunity to reinforce with all field personnel the principles of safe driving. But even with, not that we want 0 PMVAs, we are still below the target that we've set. As far as some of the major initiatives that we had, electric lockout tagout, that's complete.
Ephraim, excuse me, one
Yep.
second, may I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
I was thinking, I wanted to bring it up earlier in the consent agenda on the truck that the gentleman ran off the road. Somebody ran him off the road and he turned it over. What was that, $250,000? I'm trying to remember all these numbers, 240 something.
Roughly.
My question, I see we pay, what, didn't insurance pay for that?
I believe, there you go. Heather has the details.
Heather Carazala, Support Services Senior Manager. We did get a check from insurance for $143,523. There was some depreciation in that because the vehicle was a couple of years old.
We don't have a replacement cost on these vehicles? I mean, it's inexpensive.
I'll let the accounting team talk about how they depreciate a vehicle over time because I don't have my mind wrapped around it, but apparently we still have to pay for the depreciation of the vehicle through the expected lifespan of that vehicle. Either way, we still have to pay, the vendor for the cost of that vehicle, but we did get the check from the insurance, which will go back into our financials
Okay,
to offset the cost.
help me here just a minute. The vehicle cost $250,000.
Yes.
And we got paid $140 approximately.
Yes.
I don't agree with that at all. In insurance, it should be replaced, that less your deductible. Let's look at that, could we?
So I think what you're saying is replacement cost coverage.
You mean like gap insurance?
Yeah.
Is that what
No,
you're?
I mean, I'm talking about replacement costs. They replaced the vehicle. They, would had it depreciated down to 140.
Correct.
What we will do is we'll take a look to see what the options are with
Yeah,
that.
let's look and see if we can get replacement coverage on those. Okay, thank you.
Will do, yeah, the property insurance renewal will actually come forward for you in September.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be part of that renewal package, so we'll see what it costs to
I
add
know
that
you
additional
worked that.
coverage to that.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. You answered my question. Thanks, Ephraim.
Yep,
Heather,
we'll figure it out.
go ahead.
So, excuse me. So, major initiative, electric lockout tagout, that's complete. That's to ensure that equipment is properly secured and that no one operates or maintains it while it's in its serviceable or locked out format. That we actually do refresher trainings to ensure that everyone's adhering to our standards. We had some major safety trainings, as you see there. Okay. Next one. So safety and SAIDI are the primary indicators of our overall performance. So F in frequency and then D in duration and SAIDI, and that's for the overall system. Those are the two most important factors. What's really impacted us this year to be not where we want to be is really an incident that occurred in Q2, which was related to the March 24th extended outage, and that had to do with the distribution system being in an alternative configuration to cover for the Field Street Transmission East project. So we did have that outage took longer to restore because of the alternate configuration. So that's one, but we did take a look at how can we isolate and restore better when we are in an alternate configuration. So that's a remediation that Raquel Mercado and the team has taken a look at. On the Q3, we've had several electrical line and equipment issues. The severe lightning has really been wreaked havoc on our system. Now, we do, as others have put in, as many protective measures as where we can, but there is still going to be impact from lightning that wreaks havoc with the system. So I was on a radio interview this morning and just kind of reiterating to, we can put in as many measures as we can, but we cannot completely eliminate outages from lightning strikes. So if, at the very bottom there, if that March 24th outage would have had not occurred, we would have been green for the three metrics, safety, SAIDI, and CAIDI. But the engineering and T&D are working on longer-term solutions to identify additional actions to further reduce outage frequency and outage duration. So we're constantly looking at those items from our weekly calls on Tuesday with electric and then on a Monday for water. So we're constantly looking at how we can either improve the system or field personnel and what they do to try to minimize the outage duration. So next,
Excuse me just a minute. I was somewhere the other day and a lady came up to me and she said, buddy, in the past, and I don't remember this, at the utilities, you could text down if you had an outage, or you could get a text back. Are we still we're doing that? We're texting people and telling them, correct?
we are text power.
That's what I told her. I said, we're texting the reason.
No, we are. That's exactly what we've been with AMI and such now.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Efren,
next.
one other question.
Yep.
I agree with you with all these lightning strikes. I mean, yesterday we had, I
It
think
was
it looked like
horrible.
over 20 locations that were down, I think due to the lightning strikes. What is the typical repair of a lightning strike? Do we have to swap hardware? Is it a reset?
In some instances,
takes
it's
place?
updating a fuse on a transformer, but what we've seen lately, we've seen whole transformers literally just have to be replaced. So when you have to replace the transformer, it becomes a much longer, it's not a quick fix. Now, some of them, I believe, down on your stretch, we had to reset some reclosers, and then once we did that, we were able to have power restored. So it could be sometimes a quick fix in extreme circumstances, and it's really not extreme because we've seen it a lot, was replacing the transformer. So, but
So if you look at the outages yesterday, just as a rough example, would you say it's 75% are reset versus
it was probably
actual
more
replacement
like,
of hardware?
it was probably 50-50.
Okay.
We replaced a number of transformers yesterday, and we just did some resets.
Got it.
So it wasn't really, it was kind of, it's split in half.
And a reset is done on the pole, or it can be done
It could be,
remotely?
no, it could be done on the pole typically,
Got it.
near the pole.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Okay,
Efren,
yes.
have we had any lightning-related damage in Venetia?
So is that Quayasisi area? So your,
Hey, that was a trick question.
oh, because of I know what you're going at, yes.
No,
Well,
it's underground.
yes.
So once you put it underground, the likelihood of having lightning damage and not being on a pole is much higher than
So,
when it's underground.
so there's the counter to that. So, for example, coming from Chicago, they have an extensive underground system, meaning you have manholes, you have underground lines, easier to repair. In Florida, you run into a different issue where you can underground it, but you hit the water table pretty quickly. So then when you have a fault, you literally have to try to identify where that fault is. So undergrounding the complete system is not financially feasible. And the cost benefits, you start to run into a different issue where with the water table that we have, it's not always easy. You have more frequent outages, and identifying them are, it's harder.
Understood. But, you know, if you can put a subaqueous connection across the intercoastal waterway, it seemed like you could be subaqueous in the neighborhood.
It's easements, all of the construction, road restoration, on average, and this is just a very high level average, it all depends specifically based on the actual geographical conditions of where you're at. You're looking at around 1.3 to 1.5 million per mile. So, you know, it becomes quickly. Now, on the flip side, our any new subdivision, any new development is undergrounded. So, but in our, yes, it would be its own, we'd have to do an extensive study to determine if it make complete sense. Now, we do look at it selectively where an area may deem it just because of specific activity, but it's kind of it's on a select basis.
We talked some time ago about Silver Sands and laying power lines while we're trenching all this work. Is that still a possibility?
I believe Juliet indicated, and Darren could probably talk about it, there wasn't enough space in the tight constraints there, what was mentioned. I don't, Darren?
The right-of-way is very limited in Silver Sands.
I didn't hear that.
So Darren, come on up, Darren.
Darren, you've done a great job on that project, young man. I'm gonna tell you, I heard lots of comments on it.
Thank you very much.
Positive.
In Silver Sands, the right-of-way is very limited. There's not much space at all. So we're challenged with the current project relocating the sanitary sewer and water main in those areas because of those tight right-of-ways.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Well, kind of. It's just an opportunity I hate to see missed, because I've seen so much times when we don't take advantage of when we're digging a trench to do whatever we can, you know, replace water lines or whatever, especially since there is a usable life of a water line. And if you're in there and you're digging, maybe it's the time to do something like that, but.
I think we would if the easement or the right-of-way, were larger. Now, we are using this opportunity. This grant does not cover the water main replacement that we're doing. So that we are doing since we are opening up. Is that correct, Darren?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Good job again.
Okay, so just to some of the key highlights on what we're doing for fiscal year 26. Working electric ops, working with technology, the MillSoft that we're using, so it updates customer notifications. I do get text, so when we were out, text power is in place. But Buddy, if you have that residence contact, we can work with her or contact her. SCADA, what we're doing is, so SCADA is, to Commissioner Devine's earlier point, SCADA is the system that provides us information on critical equipment and where it's out, and it's you can see it at the Station 5. We are adding more additional points to provide additional visibility to the operators to help with restoration, because then that helps dispatch resources quicker to specific areas of that we're seeing from the control station.
Let me ask you this question, please, Ephraim. You just said in in the areas, I'd like to see the areas out at Coastal Woods, where former Mayor Hathaway lives.
Yep.
I'd like to see them north of town where Commissioner McGurk lives. We can get those, so we can see where it went out. We can get those indicators, because they're watching.
Yep.
You know, and they get the calls like we do.
No,
Is that possible?
so when we're talking about specific, this is specific pieces of larger equipment that provides where on a line it is. So we have them across the service territory. But we can probably take a look at a specific one and have a one-off conversation on it. So to just give you some insight on it. But
Yeah,
we are monitoring, our job is to monitor the whole system.
Right.
Between the AMI and the specific pieces of equipment that we can then help us identify where the outages are.
And we have enough, I asked this last year before storm season, we've got enough transformers?
Yes.
Enough backup?
We do. Raquel works with Caleb, Maureen in the purchasing department, Jameson, Kenny. So we're constantly looking at the upcoming developments, what's needed, the timing of it, as well as what's needed for everyday replacement, as well as what's the reserve we need for the storm. So there's a number of checks and balances on that. So right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Excellent.
Next one, we've did a nice targeted area of North Beach and South Beach because we had noticed particularly high corrosion. So we targeted well over 100 poles replaced. So that'll help us particularly during the upcoming storm season and resiliency. Line 32, which is that new line in the western portion of our territory, is done. The Field Street transmission line is complete. So in essence, when we have inclement weather or a hurricane, we have the everything is, the equipment's hardened, so to avoid less of an issue. Next slide. Okay, so this one we talked about earlier, the subaqueous cable replacement project. We had a kickoff meeting on July 14th. There's a meeting with the city at July 31st, so coming up. And that is a project that'll be 2+ years, but it's kicking off, and we're proceeding accordingly to get that done.
Efren,
yeah.
what is the city's involvement in that project?
I think it's just coordination to ensure, because I know it's the entry point, or one entry point is near that playground. I can't remember where that is. So we have to coordinate with the city, because I believe, and Ron can speak to this further, they're doing some work as well. So we want to make sure we're coordinated and not causing any issues. So, which is good. That's what we need to be.
Yes, that's very good.
Updated protective and control. So this portion is, you always want to protect your substations. So this protective and control relaying and equipment, we always want to make sure that we stop an issue before it has a bigger effect on a substation. So we're looking at updating some of that equipment to ensure that we get the best data and it's updated. So,
Good job, Efren.
thank you. No, it's the team. It's all of us. Once again, engineering reviewing the outage data, and then we always want to try to, how can we incrementally improve safety and SAIDI? So now we're at the maturity cycle where when we started 7 years ago, it was relatively not easier, but the low-hanging fruit was already kind of resolved. Now we're at the point where we have to really dissect the data to see how much better we can get under the existing capital that we have deployed. We did, so from a storm readiness standpoint, we had our June storm drill for electric and water, and Michelle Lamago and the engineering folks, along with T&D and water, in essence, threw out different scenarios on if we have this type of weather event, what do we do? So some of the things that we're always trying to make sure we're ready, since we particularly didn't have a storm this past season.
Ethan, have we ever had a storm event that we lost water and wastewater services?
No, not. So just to recap, Milton, the last storm we had, we were 90% restored in 48 hours and 97% restored in 72 hours. Which was by far better than any performance around our area. So
Better than Edgewater.
Much. A lot
I
better.
tried to leave names out of it. I just wanted to say surrounding community. Okay, so cost management. So this is consistent. We're green across the board. At the very end of it, we look at operationally the water and electric weekly. Next slide. Okay. Scorecard, customer service.
Before you leave that slide, Ephraim.
Which one? Go back.
The first slide on cost management, the annual electric O&M per customer. Those look like pretty comprehensive metrics. Do you calculate that monthly?
Yes, we do. And we have a bi-monthly or quarterly metrics meeting.
Could you share that one on a regular basis, monthly? I mean, I don't know how much that fluctuates, but.
I'd have to go back and check. I know that we have the metrics. So we have a summary of this similar slides every month, correct?
Yeah, you provide that.
Yep.
And
We'll provide
how
the
much
detail.
how much variance is there to that?
I mean, it starts out, since this beginning of the season or beginning of the fiscal year is a little slow to start off, then it starts to increase. But I mean, it tracks with the financials because it's the cost per customer.
And Cody, is that cost that you capture there, is that more kind of allocations, or is it is it mainly direct costs associated with those three metrics?
Would be both, but it's annualized on a monthly basis.
Okay, so it doesn't fluctuate much.
And
We
it,
definitely provide that.
yep.
Okay.
And it excludes purchase power.
Ephraim, what is the life of that? You reline the wastewater lines. What is the life of that?
I want to
line?
say 20 to 25 years.
I thought it was
Darren?
50.
Darren?
Remember Julie addressing that at some point.
Yeah, she did. I just can't.
Julie addressed that at some point.
I just can't remember the.
Where is Julie?
I can look it up and double check with the submittals, but I'm thinking at least 50 years.
Okay,
once
so
it's
What I was
refined.
thinking.
So my 25 years was related to the pellet softening and the deferral of that, so I apologize.
A lot of numbers going around here, Ephraim. We understand it.
There is a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Next slide. Call center, just solid performance, billing and collections. Next slide.
And sorry, one comment here. Call center, those do look like great customer-centric metrics, but maybe something would be helpful as well is some sort of cost per contact.
Okay. Yep, we can.
That would be
look-
helpful in the call center, and then we keep hearing questions about the AMI meters and whether that is having any kind of positive efficiency in the meter reading. You know, yes, you have to still go to the house to read the water, but I would guess that there is some sort of efficiency in not having to read the meter. And how is that trending over time? Maybe this cost per read meter or something
Yeah,
might be helpful to understand that as well.
Okay, we can see what we come up with.
Good suggestion. Thank you.
Okay.
And Commissioner Devine, it's interesting, I was at the FMEA meeting, I was listening to a group of people talking about the fact they wish they would got on the AMI earlier and how much more efficient it is. And they, you know, it's like a whole group at a table in front of me, and I was just listening and go back and forth. So one of my comments was good job to the team by jumping on that early, because it does seem to your point,
Yeah.
When we start,
create efficiency and
And to an earlier question about where do we use AI, if you follow Salesforce and their stock, I mean, AI is definitely being used in call centers more and more every day.
Yep.
that's our largest investment in State Farm Insurance right now, Salesforce. He sits on our board too, the vice president. Oh, man.
So, and to that end, we can just
Good
to add on a little more on the AMI.
Salesforce.
The transformational part of the AMI for us was our outages were reliant on customers calling in. Now the meters tell us that they're out. We don't have to wait for a customer to call us.
Right.
In addition, the usage stats, if customers want to look at it, they can look at it a wealth of data compared to what it was previously.
And you're looking to go to a similar type system for the water meters, correct?
So the water meters, we are transitioning to the AMI meters. As we do new meters, it's going to an AMI meter. So it's going to be a slower transition, but we're still doing it.
Seems like yesterday, Ephraim, we had that
Right.
CPI plan,
Yep.
talking about AMI, and here it is, already in place. Time flies. Good job, though, to everybody.
Thank you. Materials management, human resources, information technology. I think with all the one I'd like to definitely focus on here is the information technology. Laura, Heather's group, and various individuals really making sure that our employees are doing the training, and just they're so much more aware because now they're able to identify phishing and then report that, and then IT gets that and try to follow up. So there's constant monitoring and for cyber intrusion. So it's a win it's a good thing for us. Okay, next slide. All right, so just in summary, strong operational financial performance. We're always focused on our long-term goals of cost-effective, reliable, and resilient for the benefit of our customers and employees. We are currently the second lowest electric utility rates within the state of Florida, and the third lowest of water and wastewater in the surrounding communities around us here. One other item that we added to the operations calls was the work and asset management system work orders and what our folks are, what we're working on, how effective we are at it, and assets and how we're asset management in the field. We remain vigilant in maintaining safety, a safety-first culture, water reliability metrics, O&M expenditures under targets, customer service, purchasing, HR. So we're constantly looking at the data to determine what we can do to be more cost-effective or reliable and resilient.
Ephraim, going back to this lightning issue, yesterday was something else.
It really was.
It was.
I'm telling you, I was getting my hair cut and I almost lost my hair.
I jumped out of my chair, actually.
But obviously it did.
It was bad.
But on a residence or a building, you can put lightning arresters. Will that work to help anything?
I mean, lightning rods on the house, then drive it to ground, but nothing
come
is.
out somewhere.
Nothing's foolproof. So you do the best you can, but it's still not, can't fight Mother Nature.
I was sitting there working on something with my iPad. A lightning strike came all the way to the ground right in front of the house. The 80-pound lab jumped up in my lap, just sitting there and threw me out. That was scary yesterday. That was bad. We didn't. How many outages we have? I just thought, boy, it's getting ready to be bad.
We had one group of just over 2,000, and then once we got that resolved, then it went down to 100 here, 20 here. It then became we were across the service territory.
Where was the 2,000?
Oh, sure.
Coastal Woods.
Okay. So that would be central. Okay.
Line 31. Okay, that answered me right
Well,
there.
yeah, line 31, but I was trying to think of geography-wise. So, but yes, and that's where we were, we just had a postmortem this morning talking about last week's outages, and we talked about this one, so.
Crazy.
One other question, and I promise I'll
fine.
stop.
Going, you're all right.
All right. What about the comparison between wood and concrete poles?
Wood and concrete. So, yeah, I don't know, Raquel, did you want to talk about it a couple?
So, Raquel McCardle, Director of Electric Operations. Just in general, concrete poles vary from service territory to service territory. Some municipalities allow it, some don't. When you hit a concrete pole, there's a fatality. And so there's that. Very expensive to install, and also even to adhere the infrastructure to it, right? Wood pole, you can drill right through it. Concrete is just a whole other game in terms of cost, maintenance, et cetera.
But we do look at it for larger transmission poles.
Yeah, critical.
We do that.
Critical service points, but I wouldn't recommend it, wholesale across the territory.
Okay.
We can look at some cost benefits if you'd like, maybe for some
Well, so I
future
think what
meetings.
we always, when we're looking at a particular area, we determine what is best for that area. So we are doing that currently. So if we think, so for example, we did a large transmission pole replacement a few years ago. Well, that's the other thing. If you mishandle the concrete pole and you get a crack in it, that's done. So it's as Raquel points out, it's a very, it's expensive, but it takes a special type of, there's a lot to
It
it.
takes precision. I mean, when you think about you're pouring the rebar, it's got to be precisely designed. It's got to be, so if you make a change, it's not as easy to sort of retrofit.
So that's where, similar to electric undergrounding, there isn't one size fits all and just install concrete poles anywhere. It's not that simple. So, but good question.
Thank you.
But the
You-
concrete
that
pole
ain't-
does nothing about like the electrical storms we had, right? I mean,
Say again?
whether you have concrete or wood in your pole, it's not going to protect it any more or any less
That's right.
when you get hit by lightning.
That's right. That's right, and it's very dependent on where it hits, right? So you still have to have hardware on the pole, and it's still gonna travel. And, you know, to Ephraim's point, once it goes underground, it's really harder and longer outage because it's harder to detect where did it travel.
Exactly.
The
Commissioner
problem-
Smith, that answer your question?
Well, I want part more. The corrosion problem on the barrier island, is there any equipment we can put on poles that's less subject to corrosion problems?
Yeah, we do spec out that equipment differently, you know, and we have spent the past year and a half sort of replacing a lot of the beachside transformers, hardware, even wire is spec'd out differently for beachside, so that can help with corrosion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Anything else, Commissioner Devine?
I did have one
Yes, sir.
on cyber, but I don't think we got there yet, or are we done?
No,
We're done. You could bring it, I mean, we can,
You want to jump to that right now?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I mean, I've read through the report, and there seems to be a lot of emphasis on training, which is excellent. But I think when I was taking my tour, I had asked this question, I can't recall the answer. Do we have any kind of multi-factor authentication in place today, or is that something we aspire to put in?
Good question. I've asked that before several times. You're right.
Yes, sir. Laura Callahan again from Information Technology. We do have multi-factor authentication in place, and we do have long-term plans to enhance that multi-factor authentication through a defense in-depth strategy. And as previously offered, I'd like to offer again, if you'd like to have an in-depth discussion of how it's deployed, be happy to do that in a closed session, given the sensitivity of the cybersecurity framework.
I'll do that. Thanks for the follow-up.
Yes, sir.
And then we've got also, we had that $250,000 grant, didn't we, Ephraim, for our IT department? With the city
yes.
joint, what was that?
Is that,
That's the continuous monitoring capability through the Department of Energy as implemented through APPA. It was to do some early exploration and development work on a specific technology, which that particular agreement ended in September of 2025.
and there was new Florida legislation that in essence came about where we could not install the equipment, and actually it was,
Correct. In the state of Florida, it's called the Florida Local Government Cybersecurity Act. It was enacted and then changed the operating conditions in which we can use specific types of technology and where our data reside as a result of the use of the technology. So we are adjusting and implementing now per that state requirement, which does force us to implement a different security architecture locally.
Are you comfortable that we're protected well enough now with our layers? I keep asking about every sixth meeting. I'll ask this question because we're all concerned about that. Our data.
Yes, our current architecture and our environment has some opportunity for growth and improvement, and it's in our new IT strategy. And we do have a new way forward to enhance our cybersecurity resiliency that we'll be happy to share with you on what that is as we move forward, so we can strengthen the protection of our data and make sure we know where our data are, who's accessing it, and how it's protected, so that at least to the best we can, stay in pace with the threats. Of course, zero-day attacks, as we know across the world and here in the United States, are always something similar to lightning. You never know where they're coming from, where they're going to hit, but we do prepare ourselves for those events, and we do have an actual incident response playbook that we have just recently developed in order to handle those situations, which I'd be happy to share with you in an appropriate forum.
What about the Department of Energy you just mentioned, Ephraim? Is there grant money available to get more grant money for cybersecurity? Could we apply for grants?
Yes, so what happened with the change in the Florida state law through the Florida Digital Services, they've actually created for the first time available to local municipalities the opportunity to get some resources through the state grant process. We're currently exploring what those resources are and how they map to our gaps and if we can leverage those to close our gaps as part of our overall cybersecurity strategy.
Would you keep us informed, please, regarding the state level? Because every state, seems like person running right now is calling me on the phone, help them raise money. So we'll ask them to help us get grants. So please keep me informed on that.
Will do, sir. If there's any specific information you'd like, be happy to provide that for you. In the meantime, I'll give you a general overview of how we're currently tracking in relationship to state grants available, gaps we have, and how best we can close those gaps as they align to the available grants regarding the scope of what the grants are for.
Perfect. Ethan, I'd like to hear that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Support it.
Mr.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
Well, Ethan, on the hardening issue, are we utilizing hazard mitigation grant money for that?
I'm not, and you're talking on the work that we do on like beach, I mean, any of this hardening that we're doing across the electric. We'll have to, I know Julie's not here. What is it, hazard mitigation through who would the grant money be from?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You said hazard mitigation, but what agency?
Well, there's hazard mitigation grant money that comes through FEMA to the state, and the state distributes.
So we've had, this question came up when we did Milton and other storms. Some of the items that the bar was very high that we weren't, it was for targeted, and Cody, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, it was targeted to entities that did not have any sort of infrastructure in place, and many of the qualifications that they wanted we didn't meet. Is that a fair assessment? So we'll take a look at it again, but if it's through FEMA, we looked at it, and we were, based on what we were doing and our reimbursement, we got fully reimbursed for our. We'd have to see if there's additional grant money available for any of these proactive items that you're referencing. So we'll take a look.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Chavez?
I do have one more item. So Ms. Simmons sent out an email, I believe on Thursday, on my behalf. Myself, the mayor, Kevin Cowper, met with 3 representatives. One representative was from Solar United Neighbors, one was Resident Walsh and Resident Denton. It's related to the solar. So we're at the point that they want, in essence, at the end of the meeting, they want grandfathering for their 293 customers. The mayor, in essence, communicated that they can come and communicate with the commission further to request that. We explained our case, and similar to what we've talked about, our focus is the reliability and resiliency and cost effective for all 32,000. We did everything, and as Ms. Ramos had put together a letter way back when, we've done everything by the book. It's right for the system. We're the second lowest within the state of Florida. Their request is still the same, which is they just want a grandfather to the previous outdated retail rate. So at this point, did you, as the commissioners, would like, and I can communicate with them, do you want them to come back and attend a commission meeting and discuss? Or the other option would be individual meetings with one or more of these representatives?
Ephraim, I'd like to just ask the commissioners what their thoughts are, and if they understand that they're not putting any money towards, if we grandfather, they're not putting any money to future repairs. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ephraim, right?
Correct. It's the fixed cost that they're not, it's definitely the fixed cost, because we went through it in detail with them again, that if you're connected, every customer is responsible for the fixed costs of the system.
And they still have low rates. I'm curious, Commissioner Devine, what's your thoughts, sir, please?
Well, I haven't heard that there's any new information since.
There's none.
There's no new information.
Yeah.
None.
I'm always willing to listen in whatever form you pick, in one-on-one, or, we can gather as a full commission. But I think the strategy that we took on, which is one, to be fair to all 32,000 customers that we have is the right one unless there's new data that has emerged from it.
No. Their data point is that that everyone else is grandfathering. Well, that doesn't do anything. That's not a new fact point.
Yeah. And then the discount on storage, has moved forward as planned?
Yes, we did. We brought that up at that same conversation, that if we have an incentive to buy additional battery storage of $3,000. So we did bring that up.
Mr. Smith,
If there's
are you through? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just to finalize, certainly willing to sit with, as an individual or group.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith,
No comment.
Mr. Kelly?
I agree with Commissioner Devine, and I think for transparency, it's better to meet as a group. There's no new information on it, and while I feel, bad for their individual situations, we didn't create it, in a sense. So, but I think for transparency, it's better to meet as a group, so we have one voice and it's not fragmented. And, as a commission, this is just my theory and my practice is that, about 90% of the time, maybe 100% or 95%, you're going to go with staff recommendation because that's what they do for a living, that's what they create, that's what they set up, that's what they're trained and educated to do. And, our job is to oversee that, make sure it's done correctly and stuff. So while I sympathize with the plight, I would listen to it again to see if there's something we missed, but I think it's, for transparency purposes, it's better just to have a meeting with the whole commission.
Okay. Commissioner Conrad, comment, please?
Well, I would agree with Commissioner Kelly's comments, and as of this moment, I am not inclined to change our position on it. I think it's very firm, and it's documented and supported. But again, it makes sense to listen in order, or if there's some other understanding we can provide to the people, I think we should do it.
Thank you. I agree with Commissioner Kelly, yes, sir, and Commissioner Devine, Commissioner Smith, I agree with you too. Yeah, I'm all ears. I would listen as a group. I think that's what we ought to do, Ephraim. But I do want to say one thing. I just heard that Commissioner Devine just said, and he said the word fair. And that's what's important here. Are we fair to everyone? And that's, Ephraim, if there's any other options, which if we did grandfather, we got to go change our rates, correct, Ephraim?
Yes, we would have to do the full preliminary hearing, if I'm not,
We'd have to have a hearing, public hearings and everything, right?
yes, it would be the whole process again.
What positive would come out of this for 32,000 customers?
In essence, the other 32,000 or 31,900 and something would in essence be covering the benefit or the additional amount that the solar customers are receiving, the other customers are paying for their benefit. Does that make sense?
Yes,
they're in
sir.
essence, they're getting more of a credit than they should, so the other 32,000 are footing the bill for that.
And here I go again with that one word, fair. Is that fair? It doesn't sound like that to me personally, but
So what we mentioned in that meeting was our master bond resolution has no free service. We do a triennial rate study per the governance model. So we do a rate study every 3 years to make sure that there's equity in the cost allocation among all customers. And we went over those facts with them, in addition stating that we are the second lowest within the state of Florida today, even after the rate increases, even after the most recent rate adjustment effective February 1st.
okay.
Ephraim, one of the things that I sat in at the conference was talking about component nuclear power generators.
SMRs.
Yeah, that's what we talked about the other day, Ephraim and I.
Yeah. What is the commission's position on those systems? Here's where I'm coming from. When they said that, you know, a homeowners association could manage a nuclear component nuclear generator, I about fell out of my chair.
That sounds like disaster.
I've dealt with HOAs and POAs all my life, and I just, you know, there's some that operate very efficiently, and there's some that take 3 years to decide what color to paint the parking lot. And I just wonder what the commission's
So,
staff.
of course, being the first at any, because I don't think it's yet, and Commissioner Davenport and I talked about it. It isn't fully yet deployed. It's still, but it is a very interesting alternative. I mean, we would definitely be interested in it if it were economics and you know, the security of it. We would definitely be open to it. But once again, you know, seeing the details and seeing what others, it's definitely something we would investigate further.
I tell you, it's really interesting, and I'm following it big time because I love investing in it, actually. There's really 3 companies that are going after it. And the one particular company is called the Cube, and I talked to Ephraim the other day. I said, Ephraim, can you imagine having out on 44 at our site a tractor trailer, about the size of a tractor trailer, but it could small nuclear reactor that could give electricity to 100,000 homes for 50 years. 100,000 homes. Now, I think, personally, my feelings are, I think by 1930, in the next 3 years, it's going to be just so overwhelming how this is going to change for us. But that's something we just need to keep talking about for the future. And I can really see something like that happening, as you said. But for our city, not a HOA association.
Correct, yeah, I don't, but I think as these projects start to actually develop, we would definitely keep an eye on it for sure. We definitely do not want to be the first adopter, but we definitely want to, it's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially with the way nuclear power is the highest reliable, consistent power.
And it's so small, it just blows my mind. It really does.
I think it's prudent to keep up with what's happening in the technology in the industry.
Absolutely.
But I think this is one of those topics that can attract, a lot of positive and negative feedback.
Of course.
And I follow the industry as well, and I think the lead time of some of the equipment we're talking about or systems is 10 to 15 years today. It is so oversold and committed to as an industry. There's, just to put it at rest for this community, there's no possible chance that we would be looking at anything within the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, it's just more to keep an eye on. So to your point, turbines for large nuclear, all the data center demand, because they're having local on-site generation, it's years to get any of the critical equipment needed for existing tried and true, on-site generation, so.
And billions of dollars in backlogs, by the way, on that equipment. Those big turbines and the nuclear. It's really happening in Europe big time right now, in UK, and Czechoslovakia is putting in the nuclear that's already out, some of this stuff. Okay, anything else, Ephraim?
No, that's it. So what I will do, just in summary, I will give an individual option as Commissioner Devine had recommended, but I think I'll encourage the first step of public attendance at a subsequent meeting. Is that fair?
So invite them to come at public participation, Ephraim?
Yep, and then we can decide from there. Then Commissioner Devine, it can meet individually as well, so.
That's fine if we're meeting as a group.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Chavez?
No, nothing more, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good report, and thank you. All right, item number 5, our general counsel, Ms. Ramos. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I have prepared in your package today for your review a proposed amendment to the interlocal agreement that the Utility Commission has with the city. And it goes along with the discussions we've been having at the last couple meetings and at the joint workshop. As background, the city and New Smyrna Beach Utilities entered into an interlocal agreement in 2021, which requires for the transfer of fee simple title for any of the properties at the Western Utility Complex or Canal Street. It requires a supermajority vote of the City Commission or a unanimous vote of this commission. And so, as we've discussed before, perhaps amending the interlocal agreement with it, which is just basically a contract between the two entities, to allow just for a majority vote of the City Commission and a majority vote of the Utility Commission if title were to transfer for any of those parcels of property.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I think both Commissioner Smith and I didn't get the handout.
I don't have it.
You have a handout?
No, sir, it's in your package.
Okay.
It was an attachment I'm showing on the screen right now.
It was in
It's just a proposed
I can-
the, it was in
draft.
the email.
Basically, you want to just read what that 2 sentences is really what it's all about in there?
Sure, well, let me read it first. Okay. So there is one section of the interlocal agreement which deals with the voting requirements, and that would be the only revision made. And what we're saying in there is, or what we've proposed, is that the new language be approved, that any sale or transfer would be approved by a majority vote of the Utility Commission and approved by a majority vote of the City Commission. And that would replace the language that says would be approved unanimously by the Utility Commission or by a supermajority vote of the City Commission. That's it.
Mr. Ramos, what prompted the original wording on the voting? Did we ever find that out?
Yes, there was a lot of historical documentation that Debbie sent out, and I believe, well, I'm going to summarize what I think occurred years ago. Was there is a provision in the charter where the Utility Commission was created by the Florida legislature, which says all title to property will vest and will be held in the City Commission's name. Or not the City Commission, but in the city of New Smyrna Beach's name. So what happens when you do that is the Utility Commission then does not have the ability for property to be held in its name, and the bond ratings that the Utility Commission would receive would be not as good as if the Utility Commission can hold property. And I'm sure there's a whole explanation about why that happens. I don't know why that would change the bond ratings, but it does. So one of the proposals that the Utility Commission had to the city was, hey, we would like to hold certain properties, or we should hold certain properties in the Utility Commission's name. And rather than try to amend the legislation and try to amend the charter, which the language in the city's charter is the same as in the legislation, the city and the Utility Commission came up with an interlocal agreement laying out a agreement about how property could be transferred. So that's my understanding from reading
Right.
the background information.
Very good. And also then, several years ago, Mr. Cloud put in the unanimous vote for us. And I don't know how I let that slip by, a lot going on, but that's when I brought up. I'd like to see it just be, and I'll tell you what my reasoning, majority vote for this board and the city, because here we are, example, we put all this time into moving forward with the Westerly project and this building, and then we get ready to vote, you're talking millions of dollars, and we get ready to vote, which we haven't voted yet, and then one person votes no, well, there it is, dead in the water. And I don't think that's right for the citizens, the ratepayers, and that's my feeling, that it should be a majority of us up here. We're all smart, and we're good business people, we're honest. And that's kind of my reasoning right there. It is my reasoning.
So, I still don't have my question answered. What was the logic behind requiring unanimous vote? Was there some fear of something going wrong? Or what, I mean.
I don't know the answer to that question about specifically why it would be unanimous of the Utility Commission and supermajority of the city. I don't know if there was a sticking point at that time about why, you know, a concern about how the properties would be transferred. That information was not in the
Ms. Simmons, do you happen
background.
to know? You've got a wealth of knowledge down there. I put you on the spot, didn't I? I know you can answer that.
Based on my view and opinion, that's okay, I got this. If you go back to Resolution 210,
2010.
that's our resolution, and they were trying to protect the property. It was acquired by eminent domain by the Utilities Commission at that time, and that property prior to had tried to be transferred to different organizations or buyers, developers. And so the commission at that time wanted to protect that property for utility use. And so they did a unanimous vote, and that was Western Complex only at that time in 2010. Then subsequent to that, then it came about where the city was talking about perhaps changing the charter, revising the charter, and then the commission worked with the city, and they decided to go ahead and have this agreement protect the Western Utility Complex and Canal Street. And that's why that voting restriction is in this one too.
Okay, I understood you loud and clear then. Commissioner Smith, I think what Ms. Simmons just said, and you've been around a long time, you know exactly what I'm gonna say, that there's a good old boy network at times, right, in this town and everywhere.
No.
And maybe they decided they wanted to go sell that land to a developer and let it go, and they thought, well, we need to get a unanimous for everybody. So I understood just then what you said. A lot of the things have gone on around. You know what I just said. Okay. You know, so kind of what, thank you, that clarified it. I still think a majority here would be much better than a unanimous because the reason I gave a while ago, in my opinion. So, Commissioner Kelly, comments, sir?
I'm on board with that assumption there, so.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question though, Mr. Smith, that was good.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that
Ms.
brought
Simmons,
out a
for
lot of
answering.
clarity just.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. That was, all that reading you made us do, 80 pages, you did that just then? Ms. Simmons, girl, please. Mercy. Whew, man. Kept reading. Ms. Conrad, Commissioner Conrad, comments?
Yes, I'm sorry, couldn't get myself unmuted. I think you all know my position on this. I've stated it many times. I believe the unanimous is important, and I think that it is a big enough project, and if there's any thought at all that by undoing this to a majority could impact the earlier resolutions and the earlier decisions that were made, we don't really gain anything by making a change to majority. I would think about a supermajority more than I would think about a majority. I recognize that I cannot vote here today. However, I would at least like my thoughts to be heard. I do have a question for Commissioner Devine. Commissioner Devine, according to your timeline and based upon the most recent results of the attempt to find a developer, when do you think we would reasonably be looking at proposals to purchase the property? 2 years, 18 months, 9 months?
You mean to sell the property or purchase the property?
Sell the property.
Yeah, I think the selling of the property is in phase 2, and that is scheduled for 27.
So is there any reason why we can't kick this down the road for another 3 months?
Well, we've been talking about it, Commissioner, for, what have I been talking about this, even 2 years? Year and a half?
Most recent
Yes.
initiative, yeah, couple of years.
I'm still, I don't have any problem with the, major majority, 4 out of 5, I could look at that. But I just don't like unanimous. I personally don't. Never have, and why I voted for it.
Can I ask council one question before we continue the debate? Tell me, this is clear what this is asking for, but can you describe again the interdependencies of our vote versus the city?
Absolutely. So this is like I said, this is a contract. If the commission decides to proceed with this proposal or with a supermajority vote, I mean, we would amend it to be specific to what the commission would like. Then the commission would approve this amendment, and the approval by the commission would be by a majority vote of this proposed amendment. Then the chairman would sign it, and we would take it and send it to the city and ask them for their consideration. And if they would approve it and sign it, then it would become a new contract and to amend the existing interlocal agreement.
And what is their vote to approve?
Also a majority vote.
Simple.
Correct.
No, super majority. They have to have 4 out of 5.
No, to approve the amendment.
Oh, yeah.
Not to approve,
Excuse me,
not to
yes,
approve
ma'am.
the sale of the property, but we're talking about just the process if we move forward with the first amendment to the interlocal agreement.
Okay, Commissioner Smith, your thoughts again?
I don't know. It's got. I'm totally confused about this, and because I appreciate Mrs. Simmons explaining what happened and why. I appreciate your insight into the Good Old Boy Network. I can't believe there's one in New Smyrna, but it's possible.
Boy,
But
mercy.
it was. I don't know. To say that we're going to be selling property out there in 2027, I think is pretty optimistic.
I think,
I mean, that's why, let me finish the train of thought, because I got derailed there. I think Ms. Conrad is right. I don't see there's a need, there might be a need to do this. Is there a need to do it now? And I don't know with the political climate as it is, if this is a good time to be pushing this forward. And I don't think property is going to be sold in 2027. So I think we have a lot of time. I don't have a problem with doing it, but I would wait till after the election before I put that forward to the commission.
Commissioner Kelly?
I do agree with Mr. Smith on that. I do think that I don't have a problem with it, and I don't like the super majority. That just, you can have one contrarian derail a whole team of planning and a lot of people that things are right. So, but there is no rush with it. And I mean, I think it is optimistic with the legal steps that you have to go through to think we're going to be doing that in 27. But it should be soon after that, if not. But
Well, maybe I'll give some clarity on the 27 comment.
Yeah.
So when I said 27, that would mean that we are contracted
Okay.
to sell the property. If you recall, there's a lot of dominoes
Right.
associated with the transaction. A main
100%.
one being, we would not turn over the property until our new building was built. But we would be contracting with a developer to have the building built and exit the Canal Street property and then turn over the land. But that, turning over the land and having the building built, that's probably a 28. But my belief is we would have to have this in place to contract the developer in that kind of an agreement.
I do agree with that, and I do think we have to have the insight into the fact too, that we may not all be sitting here when this all takes place, right? I mean, the commission has changed over time and different people have been on the board, but we want to make sure that we protect NSBU with that. And I don't think there was an intention, to Mr. Smith's question, I don't think there was an intention to protect anything but personal interest, to Buddy's reference to the good old boy network when they put this in place. So a supermajority usually covers everybody, usually works out pretty good with it if you've got 4 on board.
Let's do this then. Commissioners, let's just table this. Commissioner Smith, like you said, we're gonna postpone this until after the election. Actually, maybe even the first of the year in 27, we'll bring this back up again, okay? Is that all right, Commissioners? Commissioner Conrad, you all right with that?
Is that a motion?
Do we need a motion on that?
I don't think there was
That's
ever a
right.
motion
No, there's
to.
not anything, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna put that off till 27, the first quarter. Thank you for the conversation, though, everyone. I appreciate it. Anything else, Ms. Ramos?
No, sir.
Good job, thank you. And Ms. Simmons, thank you. You might want to type that little short version up for us, be easier to come next year. Thank you. Item number 6, old business. Commissioners, Ms. Conrad, do you have any old business?
Nope.
Okay. Commissioner
No.
Kelly? Thank you. I knew to hesitate, let you get it on, off mute. Go ahead, Commissioner Kelly, please.
I just wanted to address, and to Laura's brought up a great safety message, and it was really in-depth, and there's so much more depth to do to that, but the FMEA meeting was really informative, and like I've been absorbing knowledge, reading and everything since that on AI. And you know, AI is so all-encompassing for stuff we've been using in a shorter version for 10 years. I mean, your hospital scheduling, your doctor scheduling, everything we do uses AI. The Salesforce building in downtown Indianapolis is huge. It's right on the square, and there's 1 million kids walking out of that thing at noon and 5 o'clock type thing. But I think it's good that we educate everybody on it, because AI has gotten lumped in with data centers. So data centers are bad, AI is bad. AI is, the word intelligence in it is really not descriptive of what it is. It doesn't think, it just responds to what it's prompted to respond naturally to it. So there's great fears out there with it also. And to your point, people who are trying to do bad things with it have easy access to it because of our unfamiliarity with it. But it's been around for a long time. It's just coming to the surface now. But I'd want to tell you, I think your meeting was great, and I'm using my closing time, but sitting there at the meeting this week, and it was my first one, I had never been to one. Ephraim, Julie was there, and you know, they were held in high regard, and SBU is held in high regard by a lot of people, and listening to people outside of meetings chatting about their individual workplaces, and you know, I think you guys all do a great job as a team and communicate, because it doesn't sound like to me that the communication takes place between here, and there. It sounds like there it goes like this, you know, and if it doesn't go sideways, it doesn't get to the top. And I think it's bad when information goes sideways. It's usually not correct, right? So I wanted to just tell you, I thought it was thank you for allowing us to go, and we had a really good informative session. But the AI thing, Laura, I think that's just something for you to spearhead and get go, you know, just including keeping all of us informed on it, because it is really gonna transform everything. And it's not a total bad thing, it's just stuff we don't understand and know, and the government can't protect you from it, because by the time they make a law, it's 2 years old, and the information is 2 years old also, the energy on it, so. But I wanted to congratulate the team. You guys are, you know, Ephraim was up on stage answering questions, and, you know, it really goes back to having a great team and staff, so it's pretty impressive, so thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Killen. Commissioner Devine, old business, sir?
Nothing on old business, no.
Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Nothing.
I don't have any either. Other than keep our eye on Silver Sands.
We're watching it.
See what else we'll be working on, Ephraim. I don't know. Anyway, new business. Commissioner Conrad, any new business, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I keep walking away. What was the question?
New business? Any new business
None.
you have? No?
She
She
said,
said none.
All right. Commissioner Kelly?
I have no new business, no. I'm
Don't
good, sir.
have Commissioner Devine?
Nope.
Well, Commissioner Smith, go ahead.
Just as one thing, I
Excuse me.
sent this to Ephraim. Vanell is looking at building an RO plant. And I would think we would need to monitor how that project goes. They're gonna, not to take over all their supply issues, but sort of a first step towards addressing alternative water supply issues. So I think that's something,
Who's building?
Vanell,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which you don't think of Vanell as being.
They're growing, it's
stepping
huge.
so far forward. But they're apparently, I guess the Water Management District grant money is what's building this plant, so I think we ought to keep tabs how that goes.
We will, and I think as we talked about at the Joint Commission meeting, at least based on the current development projections, that's been incorporated into our CUP. That's it. We're working with St. John's River Water Management District. We're staying ahead of the future as it relates to adequate water, which we do have. And I do understand your concerns, but we're always looking at all of those options. But our, you know, between our in-house staff, Dana and her team, as well as engineering, Julie, Darren, and others, working with St. John's River Water Management District, that is we're crazy glued to them for the fact that we need, we're speaking up for our community to ensure that we get our portion and continue to get our portion of the Florida Aquifer. Our CUP, when we did the first bond issuance in 2020, that goes to 2040. So, but Dana's putting some additional information together as well. So.
All right. They're building a new water plant, correct?
RO plant.
Well, need to look at that, Ethan. That'd be interesting to go see. All right. I don't have any new business either. Moving on, possible other business, time for commissioners. Commissioner Conrad? Comments? Any other business?
No,
Thank you. I hope you get your problem solved.
sorry. I need to be in person.
That's all right. We miss you, though. Hope you get your problem fixed. All right, Commissioner Kelly.
Thank
No, I guess I just wanted to, I thought it was a productive meeting with the joint city council and SBU. We sure worked our way through some topics and issues, and wasn't always pretty, but it's good to get that kind of communication done. So appreciate you setting it up, but Mr. Chair, and getting us all put together there. So I think it was a good idea and timely, and we know what steps we've got to go through from here, you know, just a little bit of a reset, so.
Thank you. Commissioner Devine, comments?
Well, I share a little different opinion about, in reflecting on that meeting. One of the things I appreciate about this team is that it's it has a great deal of diversity in our backgrounds and the way we think about things, and I think that is a tremendous asset for any kind of a team. And I think as we use that diversity, though, it's important that we go about our business in ways that we can end up with a productive discussion. And I thought that the way, Commissioner Davenport, you brought up the reflection on the RFQ, in my judgment, was a little inappropriate. It was inappropriate not because of the view that you had, but in the way that you brought that up after I think it was a 24-hour period of receiving back the RFQs. The team had not had an opportunity to review the RFQs and make recommendations to this team. And I think characterizing the RFQ the way you did, by calling it, I think, the worst RFQ RFP you had seen, after voting on it several times, I thought was inappropriate. It was a description, and I apologize to Maureen and to Heather, who predominantly drafted that with a lot of thought, a lot of input from many people. I just didn't think that added value in how we get through working on this next step. So while I think we've got strength on this commission and we'll work through it, I just would like to just share my view that I thought it was inappropriate timing to be expressing that in that meeting when this team had not had an opportunity to read the responses, digest them, come up with strategies, working with the staff on what we do as a next step, and for you to promote.
Okay, we had that. I'm gonna cut you off. You've already said it twice.
No, I haven't said that.
You said inappropriate twice. Now, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna apologize to you, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Not to you, I'm gonna tell you, it's one of the, I could not believe, I told Ephraim, Heather, when I read the RFP originally, and I voted for it, because I wanted to see if somebody would bite, and they didn't. Because nobody's gonna respond to that. I said, Ephraim, I called you and I said, I cannot believe this RFP. Remember me calling you, Ephraim, saying, I can't believe this? Anyway, and I still can't believe we've spent that time and that money when nobody's going to come out and give their front-end money, and then they put all their money up and then come back to us and they don't know if they got it or not. No, it's not going to work that way if you've been in development, which I have. And I'm sorry, but we had that 2 days prior to that meeting. I read all that stuff and I went, man, I can't believe this. We didn't get any RFPs in.
What do you mean we didn't get any
We
RFPs?
didn't get any RFPs. We got responses. We did not get what we asked for here. We got somebody say, we'll charge you up to, I think it was $300,000 in the end. Then we got another one, which I want to talk about, was an RFI again. We're not putting in an RFP, Mr. Richard German said, but here's what we'll do. And this is, I'm going to say it again. You know, here we've got, let's just back up here a minute and think. One thing I got out of that meeting, I really respect our city manager, Kevin Cowper. 100%. I respect him immensely. Smart man. So he's sitting there at the end of the table, and he said, let's back up and reflect. Think about what you want. What do we want? What do we want? And then after you think about, here's exactly what he said. After you think about what you want, then get some guidance how to get there. Now, that's what he told us. I listened to that and I said, that is so right. Now, Commissioner Kelly, I have a question. What is it that you want? What do we want here at this commission? Just, what do we want? Bottom line.
I think we all appreciate asking. I think we all want to see a Western complex developed, and we all want to see better use for this facility for the community. I mean, Canal Street is a diamond in the community, right? But I do think, and to your point, our city manager, Kevin, brought up the fact he did that development in Pensacola. And it takes probably a different skill set. Everybody here's got a skill set with different knowledges, but you're the only one, to my knowledge, that's been a developer. I've been involved with buildings, but it's all private enterprise. But I do think that we need to take advantage of Kevin's ability and your team over at City Hall to maybe sit with them, or at least have a small group of us sit with them and go, hey, what does it take to move forward in a way? How can we write a better RFP for, to your point, it was little, we didn't, to Commissioner Devine's point, we really didn't have time to discuss it, and it made, I felt like, I'm going to be totally transparent, felt like it made us look a little disorganized,
Well,
right? And
we've addressed that, so.
But I
How
do
we
think we've
address
got, I think we've got to reset and look at it, because it is what everybody, I think, sitting here wants. And we want something unique and environmentally friendly, and something that the community be proud of, and that could be a multi-use facility, right? And I think there's, Dr. Fish kind of had ideas and all that, but he doesn't have the backing to do that. But how we go about getting that set up and the backing, to your point, that company that you were talking about it's a hedge fund backed company, I believe, if I'm not correct. But,
Yeah.
that's the kind of money it's going to take, because an independent developer or something like that, you take all kinds of financial risk, and we can't take a risk. We have to have almost zero risk as
Absolutely.
NSBU, and that's a hard thing to do. So, no, but I think if you ask me, that's where I'm at. I want to see it done and done right, and getting there feels like we're moving forward. We just got to get it set up. And I did appreciate Kevin offering the use of the city staff to sit down and get a new game plan or a map put out there, a road map to a Western complex.
Well, Commissioner Kelly, when you reference the, where do we want to be, in the plan that we've put together,
It's in there.
is that not
It is.
completely expressive of what we want? A new, state-of-the-art, first-class facility that continues to bring efficiencies and keeps us in the lowest cost. It dispositions the Canal Street building, and then it helps pay for all that by dispositioning the Western Complex land.
Right.
Why is that not clear to anyone in terms of where we want to go? That's the four-phase plan that we've described, voted on, and agreed to.
Right.
This was one of the very first steps to let this RFP, and it was highly recognized, at least by me and I think others, that this was an approach that we're going to try to maximize the value for the land. There could be some, let's say, there could be more resistance or less interest from developers, because it's not turning it over to them all at the beginning. And so we are taking an approach that's trying to maximize the value of that land so that we get the best value for our customers. So when we say we don't know where we're going or know what the end result wants to be, I think we've all multiple times voted on that with supermajorities.
Right.
Okay, let me interject there now. I agree with you 100%. And I've got to say, and I'm going to say it again, we got two things. What do we want? We want a new building out there, like you said, state-of-the-art. We want your road to be built, Commissioner Smith, right? Okay, your road.
Smith Avenue.
It's Smith Avenue. So here we have an organization, SunTerra, that just bought $50 million over in the Oviedo area, just that. But go to Gen Partners website. They're a New York hedge fund, basically, They've done $2.5 billion in the last few years. There's the money. They got the money. This is Richard German. Dan Edwards is with Gen Partners. And then you have Sunterra that Mr. German, as you can see up there, thank you. You can see they've done they have 2.5 billion. You can see how successful this organization is. They have so much money's not a problem, period.
Commissioner,
Listen,
may I please? I mean, you're making a pitch for one of the two that responded.
Yep.
I think that's inappropriate right now. I think we should let the staff take the responses, analyze the responses, and this is what we all agreed and outlined. Let them analyze the responses, bring that back to us with recommendations.
Thank you, Commissioner, but I have the right to give my opinion setting up here.
So did I.
Under time for commissioners. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm sharing what the city manager said. What do we want? We already know what we want. Now, how could you get somebody to help us? So you're right. When you have Sunterra with this much money and this kind of organization right here, you know, it's like fishing. That big fish is about ready to get your bait, but all of a sudden they run off, you don't have them. And you have somebody this strong and this powerful, and then they're gonna come in, they're gonna take over. They'll come in here, I'll just read what it says. They'll come in, take all the permitting, put up all of the money, upfront money, and this is hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when we got through, get Dr. Fishkind to come and review with them, review with us. He's the professional. Dr. Fishkind has done millions of dollars in development, counseling and consulting. He's an economist from Florida. He's counseled the city of New Smyrna. So he would counsel us on how to move forward with this group that's willing to do it. And they're willing to go in and put all this money up, Commissioner. I don't get this. At the end of the game, the end game, we were gonna have to put up $8 million. And we don't want that to our ratepayers. We're gonna have to put up $8 million. Remember at the bottom line with Fishkind? Well, they're saying at the end of the game, we'll build your 35,000 square foot building, which I think it should be a little bigger. Hopefully we can get the county. And at the end of that, we will hand you a set of keys to a brand new building. You owe nothing. And we take this building and make it into a boutique hotel when you read the report, and we'll have commercial down and apartments in back and garage. And then what we have, I'm not going, what are we missing here? These people they got the money, they got the knowledge, and they want to do this project. So we ought to at least look at that with my suggestion, Commission, with the assistance of Dr. Fishkind, just like Kevin Copper said. Get somebody to advise you. He's the professional in development that can advise us how to structure and move forward. If we want to move forward. If we want to keep looking, we can keep looking. But that's my opinion, and I think it's very appropriate to give it right now, what I'm feeling that I've been working on for 7 years. And you've been around 9 months or 10 months. I've put everything into this, so that's why I feel like I can say something. So there it is. Thank you. Commissioner Smith, anything, comments? You're gonna get the road too, by the way. They'll build it.
Road, yes. On a happy note, one thing that we left off in that joint meeting with the city commission that I was thinking about, of course, afterwards, we didn't talk about what the Utilities Commission has done by not dumping treated wastewater into the river.
Exactly right.
It's very good.
Now, I was raised in the era, and I don't want to gross everybody out, but I was raised in the era of the blind mullet. And that's what they used to dump raw sewage in this river. And then when you compare what Edgewater has been doing, 840,000 gallons a day of treated wastewater, and you wonder where the nutrients are coming from, it's not a mystery.
Right.
So what the Utilities Commission has done for the quality of that river is just amazing to me. And I think it's something to be proud of, and I wish we had kind of brought, when we're talking about things the Utilities Commission has done, to me, that's a real big one that we kind of left off. And next time we have one, I hope we bring that up. But that's my concern. As far as the RFP is concerned, it kind of reminds me of when the Broncos were in the Super Bowl and the center hiked the ball over, and you knew then that they weren't going to win that game, you know? So it almost what kind of happened here a little bit. I appreciate what you're saying, and I think it's going to be a long road, and I think we got to do some more work, but we're learning. Everything that we do is an experiment to see if it works.
Right.
But we're trying to do the right thing is what
Exactly.
I think what we're concerned about. So that's my opinion. It's normal when you do things like issue an RFP to get a unique response sometimes to it. Or how would you rephrase it? I've heard, a lot of talk about the road. Of course, that's according to the county, is a $43 million project. Now, if some developer's going to fork out $43 million to build that road, I give them credit. There should be some kind of guarantee that they can recoup that $43 million.
They're going to. Yeah, to your point.
And that's what I see lacking in the RFP, is it just seems like, why would you do this with no guarantee that you were going to get a return on your investment? So that's my thoughts.
I think it's a really good point in your investment on the road. I mean, that they're going to look for tax credits. That's what I mean. There's so
Yes,
much
that's
more
right.
to this, right? It's going to go
It's very
from our
complex.
hands to the city's hands to the county's hands,
To state.
and maybe even to the state's hands, right? And nobody that's not big enough, to Buddy's point, is going to get a road put through there anytime soon, without having some horsepower to them, right? That's just
right.
bottom
When
line.
having been in the business and I worked for a developer who was in a contract that went from 1957 to 1990 to develop 6,000 acres within the city of West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
That was a complex deal. But what I think, if you look at what's going on, the type of developers who will get into a long-term project like that are much less than there used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to get in, get out, get their money and run. And finding somebody who will willing to get into the long haul, because this is going to be a long haul. And I'm surprised that we got the response we got.
Yeah, but I was surprised they didn't see like Miami Court, because they're right across the street, right? Jump in there, and I'm not a huge fan of growth and development like that, but they're doing an excellent project, something that we're gonna be proud of when that's done. I mean, if as a development, right? I'd like to see nothing be there forever, but I know that's not gonna work that way. But they are doing a environmentally sensitive development. It's gonna have, recreation areas and the whole 9 yards. And you would have liked to seen, that was my disappointment on the one response, right?
So there is a lot of options we have from here. And just to remind for all those that read the RFP, we asked these companies to come up with alternative solutions, which both did. So where we are today is we have these two RFPs. We had, past tense, an agreement as a collective team on the approach we were going to take. And I'm not sure where we are on that today, but the approach was to take these responses, decide the next step. And that could range from selecting one and moving forward. It could range from stopping the whole process altogether. It could range from asking and soliciting directly to companies like you just mentioned. But that just takes us to orchestrate that next step. And the one thing we can control is we can control ourselves to orchestrate a plan that we all agree to. By taking steps that are, inconsistent with what we agreed to at one point, I think that just brings a bit of chaos.
I don't understand steps that we hadn't agreed to. We won't agree to a development and getting what we want. And like I said, you got people, but what I suggest, piggybacking on what you suggested, let staff review those two, come back and give us feedback, and then we'll discuss it again. That's where we ought to leave this right now.
My reference to a plan was the plan that we put together, 4 phases. We're focused on phase 1, and that's what we agreed to. We discussed it, we got clarity for it, and that's what our plan of record is right now. And I think
And
what
that
I'm hearing
includes
from you is
review.
you want a new plan of record, which is directly to go partner with one of the responses.
What's what we asked for? We asked for a response. I'm a little confused here. Why'd we put that out? Why'd we spend the money? We asked for a response to come here and do it. Now then, let's sit and negotiate.
Well, let's give the staff the
That's right.
opportunity.
That's just
to-
what I said. Staff review it, then we'll come back.
I think part of that, buddy, and I think we probably all agree with what we're saying, but we did this to get research, to see what the interest is and see what's out there and what's available. And we probably didn't get the response back that we wanted, or maybe we did, but none of us know that 100%. And that's why Greater Mind, we have to be 100% sure at NSBU, because our primary fiscal responsibility is to power and water for the city of New Smyrna, right?
That's
And
right.
I think we're all passionate about it because you've been passionate about it, and that's carried over into the group. Because I told you earlier, when I first started, that it was a dead issue with me. We're in power and water business. We don't need to build anything. So we're not. But this is a chance to really keep the image of New Smyrna up and do something right and create something well. And I do think Commissioner Devine had a good process and plan. And I think we don't even need to step back. We just need to step sideways and relook at what we have and research it and use the resources of the city. We don't have those resources at NSBU. And I think we have some very sharp people over in the city management office over there, as well as sharp
Right.
people here. So I would love to hear their opinions on it, and particularly Kevin, who sounds like he did a development similar to this on Pensacola waterfront up there. And I think that part of his skill set would be really interesting to take a look at and see what he says, yes or no, type thing.
Well, Ethan, let's get the staff to review those 2 we got in. Then you give us feedback on what the direction staff has said based on Commissioner Devine's 4 steps, and we'll see where it goes from there, okay?
Yes.
Anything else? Any other comments?
Just one thing, I want to set this, I promise I won't talk about the road.
Oh, please do.
But I think it's kind of a misnomer to say that the repurposing of this facility here is going to turn Canal Street around. It may help, but what destroyed Canal Street was when they got rid of basic services that people could live here and go to, grocery stores, hardware stores, clothing stores, you name it, everything disappeared that would attract somebody to want to live downtown Canal Street. So that's got to be addressed. And they've got to start thinking, when they think mixed use, that's not a bar with a condo on top. It's much more complicated than that. And you have to have services in order to attract people to live here. Because for the people who live in this area, where do they go to the grocery store? 44, or over on the beach side. Those are kind of basic premises that we need to start with our eyes wide open, that this is may have a potential to benefit the future of Canal Street, but it's not going to solve all its issues.
Thank you. Ephraim, I'd like to see also if we could get these staff to review, it'd be good, in my opinion, to review Fishkine's report with these 3 and get a feeling what Dr. Fishkine said. And by the way, these Fishkine and these developers, they know the prices of this land. I mean, go out, they know the values. They do this all the time. And also I wish they would look at these backgrounds of these people, just review those. It's very interesting to see who's interested in us. Anything else, commissioners? Got anything else? Commissioner Devine? Commissioner Smith?
No, sir. I'm done.
Yeah, I figured you. Commissioner Conrad?
She dropped off.
She dropped off?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kelly?
No, I'm just glad Jack Holcomb told me this is only a half hour once a month. That's all you'll have to put into it, so don't worry about it.
Hey, I really enjoyed, I'll talk about that later to you. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much. You know, staff, I sit here and hear y'all and watching, it's like, goodness gracious. What a great job you do.
Yep,
I mean,
great job.
and these reports and the KPIs and everything, this is my 10th year. And I've got to tell you, my first year setting up here, were you here, Heather? Who was here 10 years ago? You were, Maureen, weren't you? You sat out there, didn't you? 10 years ago? I'm gonna get lost for words right now, everybody. Thank you for these reports. You get through with the meeting 10 years ago, like, oh man, where are we going with this place? Could get in trouble setting up here. So we've got it turned around. Joe Bunch and Ephraim and all of y'all doing such a wonderful job, literally. And the insurance, Heather, great job. I mean,
job.
these employees and team members can't find a better product.
That's very true, buddy.
You just can't. And I read that report, and I'll leave you on this one. I just went to a big meeting with State Farm Insurance. There were 40,000 of us in Las Vegas. And they stood up there and said, we're canceling everybody's health insurance, 12/31/26. We were all shocked. So here we are, y'all doing that, and all these people, all these young people, families, that's expensive. So we're blessed to have an organization like this that cares about you. So I just wanted to tell you that, and I'm gonna thank you all again. I'm gonna call this meeting adjourned. Thank you. You know, Jack, something else, isn't he, Larry?
I love him.
He's a